All right, there we go. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to DuePoint on this spring day. Feels like spring outside, doesn't it? No? Okay, maybe we're living in different provinces. You all come through from Cape Town. Welcome to everyone who's tuned in on the live stream. My name's Rob van der Bell. I'm one of the executives here, and I'm going to be spending the next 60 minutes or so with you going through what DuePoint is and what the opportunity is all about. So, as I said, you're at our head office. We're actually a division of another business called Constantia Insurance Company Limited. Constantia is a registered insurance company in South Africa. They were founded in 1952, so nearly 70 years old. Very well-founded, reputable business. We actually listed on the Joburg Stock Exchange under a business called Conduit Capital. The FSP number that we operate under is that one that you see over there. You'll notice in the foyer above the water cooler, we've got all these certificates up on the wall. Those are mostly our FSB licenses, so go take a look at those. We've got a long and short-term insurance license, we've got our investment license, we've got an FSB license, and we also have accreditation with the direct selling and the direct marketing associations. Credibility is taken very seriously here at DuePoint. We hope that at this stage of the presentation you're able to start building some credibility in the business that we're going to be speaking about and proposing, because that's obviously a fundamental step in creating any partnership, is that you trust the company that you're going to be dealing with. This is the executive and the management team here at DuePoint. The three characters on the far left are all chartered accountants. We start with least attractive going all the way to attractive, shortest to tallest. On the far left is Brendan Benfield. He's our senior executive here. He's got a lot of experience in financial services, particularly in insurance, because his family have been entrenched in insurance his entire life. His father's a professor of insurance who taught at Wits for 25 years. His father founded Clientele Life amongst a host of other financial service-based businesses locally as well as globally. Brendan and his brother Stuart followed in their father's footsteps, and they founded a short-term insurance business based down the road called Prime Meridian Direct, or PMD, which a lot of us will know because they do a lot of advertising on a daily basis on all kinds of different media channels. Then we've got Tim Reynolds. He's got a lot of experience in corporate banking. He was with the First Rand Group for a number of years, reporting directly to the board of executives there. Sounds like a very fancy job. But he heads up all our financial, our regulatory, and our auditing aspects here at DuePoint. Stacey supports him in that role. She's got a lot of experience in auditing. She's worked with Deloitte all her working career, locally as well as overseas. And then the interesting, good-looking people, Jane and myself. Jane's got a lot of experience in direct marketing and direct selling. She's from York in the UK, so if you speak to her, she's in the foyer. She's probably leaving now. I don't know if she's staying late tonight. But if you speak to her, you'll know she's got a Yorkshire accent that she's had even though she's been in South Africa for 10 years or more. But she's got all that experience in direct marketing and direct selling. And even though we're an insurance business, our success is predicated on growth through referral network marketing. So Jane brings all that experience to the business, and then myself, I have been working predominantly in marketing and advertising all my career. Did a little stint at Wits trying to get into engineering, but it was far too much work, so I went back into the laid-back life of advertising and marketing. I started a digital agency in the mid-90s, ran that for about 20 years, fairly successfully. It paid the bills, and I'll touch on why I exited that business, or one of the primary reasons why I left that business, to join the team here at DuePoint. So our mandate here at DuePoint is to support the people that join us. We can only be successful if the people that join this business are being effective and successful at the partnership that they enter into. And so you guys should rest assured that at least the people that you're partnering with are collaborating with you. It's in our interest to see you successful in this business endeavor. And again, another fundamental step in any partnership is knowing that you have a common interest with your partners. All right. So why are we here this evening? I assume no one's got anything better to do. Perhaps you are offered free tea and coffee. I always joke, I say things must be really bad at home if you come here for free tea and coffee. But what was the premise, right? Because you were invited here by somebody. Somebody came up to you and proposed a business solution. They might have said to you fairly blatantly, do you want to make more money? Did they come out with those words? Do you want to make more money? I think most people in South Africa would say, yes, please. We look at a couple of driving factors behind why people would be interested in entrepreneurial opportunities, because if employment was the answer to all our issues, we certainly wouldn't be here this evening, right? You would be at home watching Generations or doing whatever, having dinner with the family, but you find yourself here. So a couple of those driving factors. One is the economy. Anyone happy with the economy currently? I think if Malusi was in the audience, he would put his hand up. But it would probably be dangerous to do that. No one's happy with the economy, right? We're actually in a recession at the moment. Technical recession for the last 6 months. The economy's actually been shrinking. This plays out in a number of ways in our lives that affect us personally. Like number one, unemployment. Interest rates. The rate of inflation, right? It affects us all directly. Retrenchment. One aspect that makes our personal finance position a lot worse is the 4-letter word that you see up on the screen. Can you see it looking back at you? It's because you have a love-hate relationship with that 4-letter word. You do. You have so much of it, so you must love it. But when you realize what it's doing to you, then I think that hate starts to develop towards it. South Africans, unfortunately, as a country, on average, we've got a lot of debt. We are often criticized by economists saying that South Africans just have too much debt. We don't engage enough in savings and investment products. We get a lot of statistics from the FSB that tells us what South Africans are doing from a personal finance point of view. The average South African only starts looking at savings or investment products when they're around the age of 50. A bit late in life to suddenly look at savings and investments 10 or so years before you retire. And unfortunately, you offer debt at a very young age. The moment you start earning a salary, because different banks and service-based companies will look at you as a wonderfully potential client when they know that you're earning a salary, because they know they can debit you every month for the service or product and expect to get paid because you're being paid. All right? And so South Africans will engage in a number of financial products, most of which are, like I said, debt instruments. So we've got credit cards, home loans, car loans, educational loans, personal loans. You might even have a clothing account that you owe money on, a Woolworths account that you owe money for the avocados you bought last year. Have you seen the price of avocados at Woolworths? You need to take out a mortgage to afford avocados at Woolworths. Right, so we engage in all these debt instruments, and I think perhaps when you start engaging, like I said, you start engaging, well, South Africans start engaging in debt at a very young age. You don't really understand the problem that you're creating for yourself. Because I think it's such a common thing to engage in debt instruments, right? It's normal for people to have home loans or pay a car off for 5 years or have a few credit cards in their wallet, up to 6 or 12 or whatever looks good in your wallet. But the problem is that it actually places you into this debt cycle, especially in the economy that we're in. Because if you're earning a certain amount of money, and the average South African, according to statistics, will spend half their salary just repaying debt, right? So just maintaining their debt, half their salary disappears. And the other half of your salary is typically for the cost of living. So the cost of living would include travel expenses, holidays, maybe putting money into savings and investments, education for the kids, whatever your cost of living is. But in the economy that we're in, if you are running out of money, or let's say you are using all your money up by the end of the month, right? You've got just enough to get by. In an economy when interest rates are rising, when inflation is rising, food inflation is sitting at 11%, and you didn't get an 8% increase every year in your salary for the last 5 years, you're suddenly going to be in a position where you don't have enough money. And this is the case for a lot of South Africans. So currently, out of all the South Africans that have debt in their lives, 50% of those South Africans are under debt review. It means they haven't been able to keep up with debt repayments for more than 3 months. So I can see it. You know, I don't have to speak to each one of you individually and kind of understand what everyone's experiencing. I can see it from a macro point of view. We can see it from the statistics we get. The problem is that we are running out of time. Because there's this thing in life called retrenchment, but there's this other event in life that is very similar to retrenchment called retirement. The net effect of both these events are the same. You don't get a salary at the end of the month. And in an economy like the one we have, where companies are in survival mode, mostly, they will do things like ask you to take early retirement. They'll offer you a package and ask you to be on your way at 58, 59. Very few people get to 65. My dad's 70 and he's still working. He's forced to work. He told me he needs to take out a life insurance policy so they can leave some money behind for the kids. I was like, Dad, I don't think anyone's going to insure you at 70. Right? We don't want to be in that position. You don't want to find yourself in that position. Unfortunately, the majority of South Africans find themselves in the position when they get to retirement, they haven't done enough. They don't realize the position they've placed themselves in through a lifetime of incurring debt. So here's some data that we got late last year on the fin24.com website. Tim was kind enough to send this to me and ruin my week. But the data is predicated, or the article that was written was predicated on the rising mortality rate. So the average South African in South Africa is dying at the age of 74, at least women. Men die sooner, I think by choice. But women outlive us by a couple of years, and the current mortality rate is 74. But everyone in this room, no one looks like they're on their deathbed. We are alive and kicking. Our mortality rate is going to be higher than 74, right? Advances in medical technology, medical services, medicine, all of those things, the mortality rate is increasing. I reckon kids being born today are going to live in excess of 100 years of age. Currently in South Africa, there are already 4,000 people that are over the age of 100 living. 4,000. So the article was predicated on the rising mortality rate, because in the old days, financial planners would kind of guess that you would die at 75 on average, right? But if you're going to die on average at 90, your financial planning better keep up with that rising mortality rate. So this reckons you're going to die at 90. Okay, you're going to retire at 60. The amount that you save here, the 1 million, the 5 million, or the 10 million, will last you 30 years. So if you retire at 60, the investment that you made will last until 90, but it'll run out. The million rand will pay you out 5,000 rand a month. 5 million rand will pay you out 26,000 rand a month. We won't look at this one because no one's saving towards 10 million rand. Let's go back to the beginning. That's not much, right? Anyone survive on 5,000 rand a month? What percentage of you are currently actively saving towards 1 million rand? Can you see the problem? 2% of South Africans get to retirement financially independent. 2%. What happens to the rest of us? The ones that are deemed financially dependent. Dependent on who? The kids, maybe close family. Suddenly you're going to start loving your cousins a lot more the older you get, right? Especially the rich ones. We become financially dependent. We are placed in a position where we suddenly have to make drastic lifestyle changes. Because that moment you get deemed in retirement by your employer, he doesn't have to pay you anymore. And so suddenly that paycheck will disappear. And you will check at you'll look at the investments that you made, or suddenly you'll be scrambling around to find other jobs. But in an economy, again, where there's 9 million people unemployed, what are your odds of finding a job? You can engage in responsible retirement planning if you have time on your side. So if there's anyone in the room that's between 20 and 25 years of age, you've got time on your side. You can start engaging in this. 800 Rand a month for the next 40 years will put you in a position where you have saved 1 million rand. But your contribution has to increase at the same rate as inflation every year. So currently it's 7%, I think. But no one wants to live on 5,000 Rand a month. So look at this example. To get to 5 million Rand, you need to save 4,000 Rand a month for the next 40 years. Can you see why Tim ruined my week? I don't want to ruin your week. We have to discuss an opportunity to break out of the cycle. That's why we're here this evening, not at home enjoying some rest after 8 hours, 9 hours of work. Because this is something we have to do. We're placed in a position where we're forced to do something over and above employment. We cannot depend on the economy, on the country, on the politicians, on our parents, on our children, on our bosses to change our financial position. Look at yourself in the mirror. That's the person that needs to change your situation. Those other people will often be the detractors. They'll say to you, oh, don't do that, don't do that. People like to see people stay in their places, generally. Even the people that love you, unfortunately. So out of all of this negativity, as a business, as an enterprise, we actually saw an opportunity. We saw an opportunity to create a platform for the average South African to be able to engage in that will help them break out of the cycle. And so the DuePoint system was created. We launched it last year in February. And we have 3 aspirations for the people that join this business. Number 1 is to see them become debt-free. We want to see you become debt-free. You'll see in this entire presentation, in this business, the common thread that runs throughout this business is to see wealth engineers become debt-free as quickly as possible. It will change your life. That's ambition number 1. Goal number 2 is to see wealth engineers start engaging in real investments as soon as possible. Not when you're 50-something. As quickly as possible, so that you can work with time on your side towards something that you can realize when you get to retirement. And goal number 3, aspiration number 3, is to see everyone happier. Because that's why we're here. Right? You came here this evening with hope. You did, didn't you? Hope in your heart. Thinking, well, maybe tonight I'll hear about something that can potentially change my situation. And that's really what I'm hoping for you by the end of the presentation. So how does all this work? Our guests this evening, you've got the opportunity to join DuePoint. What happens is you actually contract with us. And when you contract with us, we call you wealth engineers. And as wealth engineers, we only expect you to do one thing, and that is to go out and build what we call channels of distribution. And into these channels of distribution, through our online platform, we'll attempt to place product with the people that you introduce to us. That's basically how this entire business works, how the system works. The benefit for the wealth engineer is that you get to create an additional income stream. This might seem obvious. This is the only way you're going to pay your debt off any quicker, is by creating an additional income stream. But the nature of the income that you produce is a recurring one. Now, this is where I tell you why I left my business. Because after 17 years, actually sooner, probably after 10 years, after 10 years, I realized that not being able to create recurring income in our business was going to kill me. I worked in marketing and advertising. It is a stressful environment. You're dealing with other ad agencies and corporate clients. Everyone thinks they're very fancy and important and in charge when you work in marketing and advertising. And I realized I'd have to do this job until I died, because we weren't able to create recurring income. What is recurring income? Recurring income is the ability to create value in an asset that will pay you on a recurring basis, right? So your original asset in creating that, your original effort in creating that asset will pay you on a recurring basis. This is very different to any service-based industry. So for example, lawyers, or in my case, in my previous company's case, designers and programmers, we sold time, like most service-based companies do, right? Like an electrician comes to your house, he fixes your geyser, he charges you for the time and the parts. If he wants to double his income, he's got to fix 2 geysers, right? Which takes time. That's not recurring income. Recurring income is like owning a property. Cash, you own it, not the bank owns it, then you're paying back the bond. When you own the property and you rent the property out every month, that is recurring income, because there's no effort required on your part. You understand? My father said to me, which I didn't understand because he probably told me too soon, didn't explain himself. He said to me, get into business that will pay you when you're sleeping. I think I was 12 when he told me. I had no idea what he was talking about. I wish he would have elaborated a little later on in my life, and then maybe I would have realized that being in a service-based industry is not actually great. In this business, you get to create recurring income. The effort that you put into DuePoint, into these channels of distribution in July 2017 will pay you in August, in September, October, November, December. You can be in a position in this business if you create a sustainable enough business that you can take in 5 years' time, for example. You take 6 months holiday, and DuePoint will pay you every single month while you're on holiday. Earn money while you're sleeping, right? This is what you want to do. We've built the system with leverage in mind, because this is something that we're all having to do on the side. This requires you to sacrifice time to get involved in. So we built leverage into the system. What is leverage? It's the power of duplication. Because we understand if you can only contribute an hour a day to this business, but you go out and you build a team of 10 people that are actively building with you, all 10 are investing time into your channel of distribution, into your asset that will pay you a greater recurring income at the end of the month. This business is flexi time. What does that mean? Does that mean you can do the business whenever you feel like it? Like your New Year's resolution to lose weight or stop smoking? Do it when you feel like it? No, please no. It might seem like a great benefit, but I promise you, if you want to be successful at anything in life, it requires time. And this business especially, because we're requiring you to do this over and above your job. So by the end of the presentation, if you're interested in this business, you're going to have made that decision. How does DuePoint fit into my life currently? Because for most of us, we chock-a-block. Our schedules are full. And now we're sitting here and this guy's telling me I need to sacrifice more time. Sorry. That's just the truth. If you want to be successful in this business, by the end of the presentation, you need to decide, what routine does DuePoint take in my week? If that's what you want. There's no startup capital required. There's no registration fees. There's no boxes of products that you have to buy. It's a very low-risk endeavor. There's no 12 or 24-month contract involved. No qualifications or experience required. That's important because we work in financial services, and if you know anything about the financial services industry, you'll know about all the regulation we have to abide by. It's probably the most heavily regulated industry in the entire country, and it's frankly painful to abide by all that regulation, but we do it anyway, and we contract you out of that obligation, so you don't need to worry about it. You can still enjoy the benefits of being involved in a financial services business that creates recurring income. You get to build an asset. Now, this is a very important point, because this actually is the antithesis of employment. Because in employment, you're not creating any asset. You're creating someone else's asset. In this business, you get to own this channel of distribution you have. The time that you invest, the time that you've sacrificed, you're investing in something that you're building, that you have ownership over. You can move it into a family trust. You can sell it one day. You can give it to your kids if you get too old to do the business. If something happens to you, you can cede it onto your beneficiaries. This asset has value. There is no selling involved. Everyone should be ecstatic, but no one looks ecstatic. I'll say it again. There's no selling involved. That was your first question to the person that invited you here. What are we selling in that business? What's it? Vitamins? Well, they got vitamins, shakes. What are we doing? We contract you out of selling. There is no selling involved in this business. The nature of our products being financial means that they're intangible products, right? Like I said, there's no boxes of products. If you brought your uncle's van, I'm sorry, you're going to go home empty. Our products don't expire. They don't take up space in your garage at home. So we make this business as convenient and as easy as possible to get involved in. And this is all dependent on your ability to go out and build these channels of distribution. They begin with you. If you become a DuePoint wealth engineer this evening, you're going to go out and tell people about the opportunity. You're not going to speak about products. You're not selling products. You're speaking about the opportunity. It is the most valuable commodity in South Africa currently. Financial opportunity. And if you're successful in that, if you're able to convince those people to come sit through a presentation perhaps, and some of them will catch the vision, and they'll also become wealth engineers, and they will also go out and tell other people about DuePoint. And so you have this potential organic growth that takes place in your business. That's you, the CEO in the middle. That's leverage, the power duplication. How much effort did it take to introduce 5 people to DuePoint? And this is what your business can look like after a certain amount of time. This is very similar to a multitude of certain companies, especially social media companies. Facebook, this is how Facebook works. Friends of friends of friends. They have an advertising model that exposes product and advertising to friends of friends of friends of friends. Referral marketing has been around forever. It started being commoditized more than 100 years ago. This is all that we're looking at. And after a certain amount of time, you'll have a few more dots. You're being paid for every single dot on the screen every single month as recurring income. So this is what a channel of duplication looks like. You'll be forgiven if you arrive to the presentation this evening, only once, I only forgive everyone once, for thinking that this is one of those get-rich-quick schemes that you've been invited to. Anyone think that? Everyone's too shy to put their hand up. I know some of you thought that. We're not one of those. We're a 70-year-old financial services business. We're a registered insurance company in South Africa. Got very reputable people working in this organization. This is an entrepreneurial opportunity that you're welcome to get involved in. And I know a lot of people get involved in these get-rich-quick schemes. That again illustrates how desperate people are in the society and in this economy that we're all trying to survive in. But we're not one of those businesses. I'll also not promise you success quickly in this business, because that doesn't exist in any sphere of life. Nothing. If you're willing to put in that sacrifice, the hard work, you're consistent and you're persistent in this business, you'll get there. You have to think long term. We can't think short term. Don't come complain to me after 3 months and say the business is not working for you. I was speaking to someone earlier this evening. He said, come speak to me about the business in 5 years' time and I'll tell you how it's going. That's the attitude we need to adopt. And you'll see we've got hundreds of wealth engineers that come up to us and experience all that frustration. There's learning curve, there's frustration. This is a people business. When you're dealing with people, you can be assured there's going to be frustration, right? I can hardly get on with my immediate family. Now I must get on with everybody. It's not going to happen. But if that consistency and persistency is there, and you can work towards it every month, you'll get there. So that's my disclaimer slide. Let's talk about how we pay our wealth engineers. We pay our wealth engineers something in the form of returns. We pay a base return fee of R27.50 for every product that you have in your channel. Okay, so remember the first 5 individuals you introduced to the business? Those people lie on your first point. They are 1 point away from you, and on your first point, we actually pay you double the R27.50. We pay you R55 for every product every single month on a recurring basis. On point 2, the same thing. On point 3, the multiplier starts to drop all the way down to point 8. At point 8, we're paying you 4% of the R27.50. But what's important to note is that we don't limit you at point 8. So from point 8 into infinity, in theory, we will keep paying you that 4% of the R27.50. We don't limit you on how big your channel can get at DuePoint. We don't limit you on how much you can earn here at DuePoint. Again, the accountability lies with you. You decide how much effort and time you want to put into this business. So this is the mechanics of the returns. I think it's fairly straightforward. The next natural question we get is, well, how much money can I earn after a certain amount of time? Right? How much money do people earn in this place? If I'm here for 3 months, what can I expect? 6 months, or long term, 5 years? So what the accountants did was they got a little bit creative and they built this thing called the path to success. It is predicated on a growth formula called 3+2. It assumes that a new wealth engineer can bring 3 people into this business in the first month. And then every consecutive month thereafter, you only have to bring in another 2 people, right? 3 in the first month, 2 every consecutive month. That's why we call it 3+2. So it's 3+2+2+2+2 into perpetuity. If you can do that, after 6 months, you can expect to be earning around R2,500. I never get any reaction when I talk about the money. Right? You guys all earning so much, no one wants R2,500. Looking into the light at the back. Is it a lot, R2,500? Can you do anything with R2,500 nowadays? A pair of Nikes are now R2,500. You've noticed that? What else is R2,500? Just a warm jacket nowadays is R2,500. But if you join DuePoint and 6 months later you are earning R2,500, what are you going to do with the money? We would love to see you pay your debt off faster with the additional income that you're making. So we have an example of someone that's got a R1 million bond. They're paying back the bank currently probably 11 to 11,500 rand a month over a 20-year term at the current interest rate. Yes? Everyone happy with that example? After some success at DuePoint, they're earning R2,500 and they put the money as an additional payment into that bond. What is the net effect? Well, the first part we give away. You will reduce the term from 20 years to 11.5 years with a little extra R2,500. Do you know how much money you save in the long term in repayments? R1 million. I love this example. It blows my mind. R1 million house, you're paying a bond for the next 20 years because you did buy the biggest house your salary can afford. So there's no chance of paying it off any sooner because you don't have more money. But then you start earning some additional income. And you're in the position where you have the option to pay the bond off in nearly half the time. All those people getting bonds in their 30s, only paying them off in their 50s, most of them, because they do the whole 20-year bond. Be the person that pays the bond off in their 40s. It's about options. You save yourself R1 million. If you don't want it, come give it to me. That's only after 6 months. After 12 months, you could be close to having created in excess of 100,000 rand in recurring income. Anyone get a 100,000 rand bonus this year? We're begging for 8% increase, aren't we? 100,000 rand bonus. What's he talking about? After 24 months, we're close to 30,000 rand a month. Have you noticed that the income goes up every month? What is this voodoo? After 36 months, close to 50,000 rand a month. Here's an example of someone with a 5 million rand bond. You place 37,000 rand into that bond as an additional payment. You'll pay that 5 million rand house off in less than 7 years. So I'm 40 at the moment. I know I look 25, but I'm 40. I've got about 20 years left until I retire, give or take. In this example, if I'm fortunate enough to have this option, if I'm able to pay my first house off by the age of 47, that would be great. I could buy another house and pay that one off by the age of 54. Buy a third house and pay that one off by the age of 61. Live in one 5 million rand house, rent out 2 5 million rand houses. That's 60, 70,000 rand in passive income that I've just created for myself. Well, I'm the person that just waits 20 years until I retire. Buy the house at 40, finish paying it off when I'm 60. I hope you realize that your first house is not an investment. Right? Unless you're willing to move into a caravan. Then you can sell the first house, live in the caravan. At least you'll eat well in the caravan. You keep going. 48 months, we're at about 70,000 rand a month. And after a short 5 years, 60 months, you're close to 1 million rand in annual recurring income. I don't think anyone even believes this. You can't connect to this example. If I say to you, create 1 million rand in addition to your salary, do you believe that? Can you imagine what your life looks like, creating 1 million rand from your flexi-time job? At what stage do you tell your boss what you really think of him in this path to success? When do you create that option for yourself? I heard someone that created enough recurring income for themselves that they were in the position where they could give up their day job. But he so loved the story of saying that I earn more in my flexi-time job than in my day job, he decided to keep the day job just because the story sounded good. Right? We're here trying to create options for ourselves. Empowerment from a financial perspective. But this is all academic because this is something the accountants came up with. And you know accountants can be sneaky. You can do less than this. It is easy to become a wealth engineer. Anyone can become a wealth engineer. But to be successful at it is a whole other ballgame. You can join this business and do nothing. You don't schedule it into your diary. You haven't made the decision that DuePoint is this long-term thing that becomes part of your life. And you just become one of those people that are part of the 0+0 club. This is 3+2. It's just an example. You can do more than 3+2. We've got many wealth engineers doing more than 3+2. Denzel joined at the end of August. By April, which is about 6 months, he got to nearly 2,500 rand a month. So he tracked 3+2 fairly closely. But then in a single month, he gave himself 100% raise. You can go watch his testimony. We recorded his testimony. It's on YouTube. Go listen to his story. He'll say at the beginning of the year, he realized what he actually had in this business. We used to see him once or twice a month, and now we see him nearly every single night. Nkobela from East London in the Eastern Cape, she did nothing for an entire year, according to her. She was fortunate enough to see someone's success she was friends with on Facebook at DuePoint. And she contacted that person and said, what is going on there? How can I get to where you are? And she got engaged also at the beginning of the year. Look how her income has jumped. I tease everyone. I say, please go to your boss and ask for 6 months leave and see what he says. Or go to your boss and ask for a 100% increase. Just try it for fun. He'll probably say, sorry, what did you say? How much increase? Say 100%. And then he'll print your resignation letter for you. So just sign that. So, she's been with us for a while, since July. Short lady, small, diminutive, softly spoken, probably the antithesis of what you expect you would need to be in a business like this, right? Outspoken, extroverted. She can bring in 40 plus people in a single month on her own. These are not special individuals. They are just people contributing, investing their spare time into the same platform that everyone has access to. We've got hundreds of wealth engineers that we pay every single month that have created an additional income stream for themselves over and above employment. The accountability lies with you. I'm not going to force you to do the business. If you join and you become part of the 0+0 club, you're not going to get a phone call from me. I promise. You have to do it for yourself. You have to have a big enough why in your mind so that that why will pull you out of bed every morning. And your first thought is, what am I going to do about DuePoint today? Because you're working towards something for yourself in the long term. So this is all the returns, right? This is what we pay our wealth engineers at the end of every month. Over and above that, we've got this thing called the XP Rewards Program. So we've got the returns and the rewards program. If you become a wealth engineer and you start engaging in normal wealth engineer behavior, like logging into the website, bringing people to presentations, bringing yourself to presentations, to training, a whole plethora of different things, we will give you XP in the process. It stands for experience points, right? It indicates to us how active you are. And when you start collecting more and more XP and your business starts to grow, your channel of distribution, we will reward you along the way. So if you join this evening, you will start out as a rank 0 wealth engineer. But very quickly, within a day, I reckon you can get to rank 1 because you only need 1,000 XP and you only need 4 products in your channel. And if you do that, you'll get to rank 1 and we'll be paying you a return at the end of the month, but through the rewards program, we'll give you an extra 55 Rand. And then the more success you have, you start to rank up and the rewards start to get bigger and better. 1,500 Rand, 20,000 Rand, 50,000 Rand. We give our wealth engineers tools along the way that help them be more effective in this business. So as Patrick and Pooga, the rank 5 USB drive. It's a beautiful little device that plugs into anything, literally anything. We've got all our video collateral on that. It'll plug into phones, laptops, computers, televisions, whatever. Android, Apple, banana, it plugs into everything. At rank 7, we give you premium luxury business cards. Why would we do such a thing? 12,500 Rand business cards. Because people have never heard of DuePoint outside of this building. There's no brand equity in the name yet. So if you go up to someone and you mention this opportunity called DuePoint, you don't have much credibility, right? But when you put a business card in their hand that's 50 times more expensive than the one they have, I promise you your credibility will go up. They will give you a little more time to explain the business. Because they'll be saying, jeepers, how do I get a business card like that? Go look at the cards. They're in the merchandise cabinet. Donnie's got some. Go ask him. He'll let you touch them, but he won't let you keep them, that's for sure. At rank 9, this is one what everyone gets excited about because this is a recurring reward, right? It's not a once-off reward. All the other rewards are once-offs. When you get to rank 9, all our rank 9s will enjoy this every single year going forward. All expenses paid trip to an international conference for your family, business class flights, 7 days at a 5-star luxury resort every single year. Did I say every single year? Every single year. Okay. Reserve clapping for the end of the video. This is where we're going in December. We've already block booked half this resort. This is footage of the actual resort we're going to. You need to decide if you're coming or not.
All of your wind has gone, and all of the paths you've drawn have sunk to the ocean sound where no one can see. You stand, don't let the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up.
Gets me excited. We've got families that are already booked for December. Every person in the room has got equal opportunity to get to rank 9. But can you get excited about the 55 Rand at rank 1 first? You're not allowed to get excited by this yet. 55 Rand first. The activity remains exactly the same. There's no change in activity. Rank 1 all the way through to rank 20. It's the same. If you can get to rank 1, you can get to rank 9. At rank 11, guess what happens? We rent you a car for the day. We buy a car cash and we give it to the wealth engineer. And that's what happened a few weeks ago. Patrick and Pumi received a brand new car, paid up. No debit order at the end of the month. Can you see we're serious about getting you to become debt-free? Debt-free. Everything in this business is geared towards that. And this is just rank 11. The table went up to rank 20. We've already designed up to rank 28 behind the scenes. This is early days. You have to start at the beginning. Good, one gentleman got to rank 9 in 5 months. The accountability lies with you. No one else is going to do it for you. We've got another benefit for our wealth engineers. It's called the Wealth Quest. This is something that we run every month. It's a challenge that we issue to our wealth engineers. So every month there's a different challenge, and every month there's a different reward attached to the challenge. So this month it's called the Quest for Quality. If you're able to bring 2 new people into your business and get them qualified, in other words, help them find 3 people for themselves each, and you get 100% BPQ, which means that all the people in your first 2 points pay. So there's no return debit orders in your first 2 points. We'll give you 5,000 Rand reward at the end of next month, plus 2,000 XP. It's extra benefit for our wealth engineers. We often get asked the question, how does this business model work? How are you able to pay all these returns and rewards to our wealth engineers? This slide basically illustrates our business model, a traditional business model that engages in normal kind of channels of marketing. Like insurance companies, they will spend a fortune on different aspects of marketing. But at DuePoint, we don't spend a cent on marketing. You won't see the DuePoint logo outside of this building because we don't do a stitch of marketing or advertising. We depend on our wealth engineers to go out and tell people about the business opportunity. And so instead of what the insurance companies do, where they spend billions on marketing every year, we take that portion of our premium and pay it in the form of returns and rewards to our wealth engineers. And that's basically how our business model works. We've got 3 products. You might be wondering why he's been talking for so long. He hasn't mentioned any products. We've got 3 products. You are free to take out 1 or all 3 products. They have 3 different, very different benefits. Product number 1 is an investment product. It is called Access Wealth. For 299 Rand a month, we register a tax-free investment fund in your name, and 100 Rand goes into that investment on your behalf every single month. Right? The investment sits with Sanlam, the biggest investment house in the country. On top of that, we give you a little bit of insurance. We'll give you 110,000 Rands worth of personal accident cover. Okay, this is not a fixed or notice deposit. You can draw your investment out at any stage. It takes about 72 hours to process, and the money's yours. So this is product number 1, Access Wealth, investment. Product number 2 is purely an insurance product. It is called Wealth Guard. It is 274 Rand a month, but this time you get 1.1 million Rands worth of personal accident cover. The beauty of our personal accident cover is that because it's not your comprehensive life cover, we don't profile you from a risk point of view, right? So we don't send a nurse to do bloods and urine, and we want to know your last 40 years of going to see the doctor. We don't do any of that. This product is accessible to anyone over the age of 18. You can be 80 years old and diabetic. You can still take out this product. The premium will remain the same. The amount of cover remains the same. Product number 3 is our Wealth Points Buyers Club member program. This product aims to save us money that we are spending every month anyway. So for 274 Rand a month, you get to engage with a list of partners that we've got there, and we've engaged with those partners and negotiated discounts on your behalf. Right? This product aims to save you money on the money you're spending every month anyway. So you can see we've got ShopRite Checkers there, one of the most popular partners that we have. You get 2.5% off your entire trolley at ShopRite Checkers. We've got the entertainer, in excess of R1 million worth of buy one, get one free vouchers at restaurants around the country, hotels around the world, spas, all kinds of things. We've got a number of other retailers there. We've got Eagle Ford that signed on early this year. We've sold a few cars through Eagle Ford already. Just the discount you'll get at Eagle Ford will outweigh the cost of the premium on this product. We've just signed up a new partner called Always On as a data partner, and you can see the prices there. We've negotiated prices at about 33% of their normal cost. They've got 2,500 super Wi-Fi hotspots around the country, 1 gig for 36 Rand for our Wealth Points members. So we're adding partners to the Wealth Points Buyers Club program all the time. If you're looking for immediate benefit out of any of the products, it's a great product to have. So those are the 3 products. If you have any questions, come speak to me afterwards. I remind you of the support that you get as a wealth engineer. Remember, our mandate here, staff of DuePoint, is to support the wealth engineers that join this business. So lean into that support. Don't think you can do this on your own. We know how to do this business. Just get engaged into the business. Everything that we've done is for our wealth engineers. The facilities are for you. The training's for you. Brendan and myself, we'll sit down personally with you and your teams and strategize your success here. We live stream every single presentation we do and every event out to the entire country daily, so that you guys can go out and build your channels of distribution outside of Johannesburg. You're not stuck here. Okay? You can use the facilities, they're for you. You've got free Wi-Fi, free tea and coffee. That's for you. So get plugged in. The decision slide. What is the decision we need to make this evening? I didn't try to scare you at the beginning of this presentation. What I tried to do was set a very realistic tone as to what we are all experiencing in this country. You can deny that. You can stop listening to 702, stop watching Carte Blanche on a Sunday. It doesn't mean anything is getting better. The statistics we get in every single year paint a frightening picture of what people are going to endure in this life. And it's going to get a lot worse when you get to retirement, unfortunately. You have to make this step. And it requires some form of faith, right? Because perhaps tonight is the first time you've heard of DuePoint. The first time you've met Rob on stage. Now he expects you to trust the business and take the step of faith and suddenly engage in this business that makes all these promises. But guys, we've got this platform. We've made it as low risk as possible. We've put in leverage and recurring income into the system for your benefit. We want to see people change their lives. We want to empower South Africans. We want to, in our way, change the economy. Because no one else is. So you've got to do this for yourself, perhaps for your family, perhaps even for generations to come. But you have to do it for yourself, because the economy is not going to do it for you. The person you're married to is not going to do it for you. Don't be the person that becomes the burden to their children. And we have to do it with you. Very much a people business. We're going to become best friends, especially if we spend Mauritius together, because you'll be babysitting my child. So I need to also have a holiday. Donnie knows. The guys get stuck in. If you don't understand anything, come speak to me. There is a learning curve, but it's not a steep learning curve, I promise you. Get to rank 1. I'll give you till Friday to get to rank 1. That's fair enough, right? Okay. Joining is very easy. We've got free Wi-Fi. If you've got your own smartphone or tablet with you, get onto the website, www.duepoint.net. We've got iPads available for you. It takes you about 7 minutes to go through the application form. Once you finish the application form, you'll get a wealth engineer number. You're now a wealth engineer. You've got till Friday to get to rank 1. Easy. We've got merchandise. This is not a profit center for us. These are tools to help you guys be more effective. Please consider getting business cards. In this business, first impressions matter. They do, unfortunately. You've got to present yourself professionally. Get business cards. If you're going to propose some wonderful business solution, at least have business cards. The USB sticks are very convenient because we've got all our video collateral on them. Very much a data-driven business. Everything's digital here. No trees get harmed in this business. You can buy the USB stick and use that. Give it to a friend. You can plug them into TVs nowadays, right? A host of other merchandise, all on display in the merchandise cabinet. The pricing's on the reception table there. We've got a YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. It'll tell you every time we load up a new video, every time there's a live stream happening. And if you become a wealth engineer, download the mobile app onto your smartphone. You can literally run your business from the palm of your hand. That little app tells you in real time what's happening in your channel constantly. Some people are addicted to it. Mike's admitted to being addicted. He watches his app in the early hours of the morning. Everything is for you guys. Guys, thank you for your time. We are done. Come speak to me afterwards if you need to. I'll be around for a while. I hope you have a lovely rest of the week and rank 1 by Monday. I'm monitoring everyone.